after all of this time and all of these artifacts farmed up, was it worth it? Today, guys, we're going over to my day one account. Over 65,000 resin spent. I'm gonna show you guys what I spent it on and what I got from it so you guys can see if it's worth the time, worth the wait. We're also be talking about some tips for you guys to really get the most out of your resin, especially if you're a new player in Genshin Impact. So the first thing we're gonna be going over are the characters that I have leveled for you guys there and what levels that they are indeed. So we're gonna check that out. We're gonna go right on over to our party setup so we can go ahead and see everyone that we have access to and what levels that they are indeed. So we have a couple of level 90 characters on this account. These are the characters that I've really put all of that resin for, those EXP materials outside of the ones that you can get from the good old different events in Genshin. And you see we have lovely Eula, Albedo or Alfredo, Zhongli, we're just gonna call him Zhongli, Coco Goat herself, Hu Tao, Noelle, Ningguang, and Beidou, as well as Xinyan. Now these are all my Claymore queens, as you know it, and they're all very fun to play. But on top of that, we have 3 other different level 80 characters, and then they kind of teeter off from there on, right? We have some Xingling in here. We have Venti still chilling at 70 to this day, as well as Child, Diona, Xingqiu, Bennett at 70, and then 60. You've got Mona, Traveler down here at 50, Big Boy Diluc, Razor also at 50. Then we finish it up with Barbara Jean, Changyu, Chi-Chi, our boy girl Kaching as well over here at 20, and then Sucrose, Kea, Amber chilling at 9, and Lisa taking up the bottom at 4. I'm sorry, girl. I did not mean to leave you at 4 for so long. So that's quite a lot of leveled characters, but not every character on this account is at 90. This is because a lot of that resin that I've used, saved it up since day one, used every day, never gone over the limit and lit it over cap, because I just get in there and I get it done, has gone to not just every character in my account, but as you can see, most of the characters were just either main DPS characters or characters that I really personally enjoyed, but the supports I left at lower level. They don't really need to do a bunch of damage, and they're not tanking a bunch of damage. Their skills are sufficient enough to carry me around. So that's one big tip for you guys here. You don't need every character leveled up to level 90, but the vast majority of this resin did go into not just leveling these characters in their talents, keep in mind, but also into the artifacts. And let's see what we have for our artifacts. I know you guys are gonna have better artifacts than me. That's just what's gonna happen, right? I've spent 65,000 resin, if not more, and I'm not gonna have the best artifacts of the game. Most recently, we've gotten the Pale Flame set, as well as the good old Tenacity of the Mill set, and I've gotten some okay stuff for this. Not a lot of the 60,000 resin has been put in the account in the last 5 weeks, right? So got some cool stuff here. Aiming for crit damage, attack percent, crit damage substat rolls, very nice stuff here. And this is really what you're kind of aiming for. Every time we make a guide video, you want to go ahead and test the waters for these artifacts. And we're telling you guys exactly how to do that in this video as well. So this stuff right here is not going to be the most insane stuff. Some of it has rolled pretty well, right? Crit rate mask on this set here, the Pale Flame, with some nice attack and crit damage substat bonuses. So let's talk about the one that we farmed up the most real quick, which was, you've guessed it, the Noblesse Bolide, the good old Resin Bolide set. And as we go through this stuff, remember, this is since day one. This is not all paid refreshes. This is saving up my resin for proper times to be using them, which is the other point we're going to hit here home right now, is the fact that you guys, if you're brand new, don't use your resin refreshes right away. Save that fragile resin until you're higher levels. I know it feels bad to be running around playing the game and you're running out of resin. You want to go do world bosses and level up your characters, all that stuff. You're going to get more of a return if you just hoard them all. Save them up. You have like 50, 60, 70 of them. Wait until your AR 45, 50, until you start using those things, because then you're going to be starting getting all these 5-star artifacts compared to just getting some 4 stars and doing some other stuff and just kind of like accelerating your way to the end game. Resin's so valuable that you'll be accelerating your way to the end game, and then you're going to hit a hard stop because you're not going to have those nice resin refreshes once you're at max level in the right difficulties for the different ARs, so you can start getting 5 stars. You've used it all before, so you can accelerate to basically a red light. And whoops. So here's where some nice ones do lie here. We got the Bloom here, crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, attack percent for Noelle. Love it. We have this one here, a little bit of side grade here. I think this was the original one. Crit rate, crit damage, defense percent as well. Our Flower here, defense percent, attack percent, crit rate, followed up by crit damage, attack percent, HP. followed up by crit rate, crit damage, attack percent once again. So it's always about this stuff. Are all of these things insane? Obviously not here. Crit rate 10% though, that's still pretty good and it's pretty nice. You're not gonna have the absolute banger artifact in Genshin Impact. And that's pretty much the whole cusp of this video. HP percent sands here, crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, attack percent. We have the wonderful defense percent sands with some energy recharge and some crit damage on it. We also have access to the goblets once again. So we did end up with 2 different Geo goblets from the set. That's an actual Geo set for most players, at least for me it is anyway. This is the go-to sort of like Noel sort of set here. And they did roll kind of okay. We've seen Albedos, we've seen Zhongli's, and then there's a physical damage one as well. HP, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. And then finally, the last but not least, the circlets here. This was like if I ever had like the biggest long schlong serpent spine build, this was going to go into, you know, a Noel build. 25% substat on defense, crit damage out the wazoo, energy recharge, and some attack percent. Very nice there. And then the old attack percent, crit damage, we're all kind of doing okay over here. Now, all in all, we've acquired quite a lot of artifacts, but I can go over every single one of them for you guys. But we have gotten some bangers out there, like this bloodstained plume, this bloodstained plume, 31% crit damage. We've gotten some really cool goblets every once in a while. There's some ones that we're using that aren't as overwhelming. There's a lot of whelming options on here, but there's also some cool stuff like this Gladiator's Triumphus. And this is 65,000 resin, not entirely spent on artifacts, but on the account for characters, talents, and artifacts. You can kind of see how much stuff you're really going to be looking forward to if you stick with the game that long. Well, the game's been out like, you know, six months, longer than that. 7 months by now, I do believe, right around there, maybe a little bit more than that. And not every single one of these are good, but a lot of them are at least decent. And if you spend your resin refreshes, you're going to kind of jumpstart yourself as a player. So please go ahead and do that. The other thing here is, how do you have enough gold to level all of this stuff up? Well, that's a very easy thing for you to do here. So say we wanted to go ahead and see if one of these has give me a 3-statter real quick. So how do you guys go about saving that precious Mora? Well, you see this 3-stat artifact here. Finally found one, by the way. You want to go ahead, right? You want to see, is there crit damage hiding under this? Is this secretly a super awesome sauce? What you could do is you could do one thing here that would cost you your life, your limb, and your home if you did go ahead and do that. And check this out. Now, traditionally, if you just wanted to shove every single artifact in here that was garbage, you shove them all in to level up your artifact. Well, I get +5 right there, and it costs me 22,680 Mora. No. Do not do this. Here is what you do to save all of your precious money. You will go ahead and you will make a single +4 or +5 artifact, and this is going to be your artifact checker. If you want more information on this sort of thing, I have a detailed video about this down below and how to make these and the ones that you want to throw away. All of that good stuff on the ways to roll best artifacts. But this is one way that you will save a ton of Mora. So this +5 here will give me +5 here. You're going to get like 85, 90, 95. I think it's like 80 to 90% of the EXP of an artifact when you put it in. How much more is this going to cost me though to keep checking all these artifacts? 3,780. Extremely strong, extremely cheap as well. It's not going to be that big expensive cost every time you check that 4th stat of your 3-statted artifact. So we can go in here, we plug this bad boy in, and did we get a good one? We did get energy recharge. That's okay. Say I don't want that though, right? What do I do now? What do I do now? That's right, you figured it out. We have another checker artifact from before. So you just go in here and you go down. If you had it locked, you find it. You find that +4 checker artifact of yours. Get this bad boy out here. Say I don't want this one either, and throw this one in there instead. And guess what? You're going to be able to keep unlocking these stats and roll them over and over. Eventually, yeah, you're going to have to, you know, get a +3 and you'll throw in like a random blue or something, but you're going to be checking artifacts for 3,000, maybe 4,000. You're not going to be spending, you know, that big Mora every time you want to check that artifact there. And then sometimes you can get that EXP bonus and your +4 checker artifact or +5 checker artifact becomes a 9 or a 10 because you get really lucky. And then you can start taking that one. And when you find an artifact that you really like, you can dump that in there and it's going to cost you pennies on the dollar or whatever currency it is that you can be real cheap to level your artifact that way, and really cheap over time to check and see if a potentially good artifact is one, instead of you spending all of those resources all of the time and dwindling your Mora away. 1,000 resin got me a lot of cool artifacts there, got me a couple characters that I liked up there, right? 8, 9 fully leveled characters. Not all of them are maxed out. They're not all triple crowned because you can't do that, obviously. But those are the tips that I've used myself to maximize other resources when it comes to resin and maximize my resin and give myself a huge boost when I finally hit AR 50/55. So go ahead, take those tips and use them on your own account. If you guys want to see more Genshin stuff 5 to 6 times a week, maybe more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.